This time here, Yerushalmi says Ma'aser Sheni in the article Ozbar Lishmer and Daf Lamed Zayin Amrav, the third line down, Rabbi Yonah Boy. And in the Vilna, that's on Chav Beis and Beis, about the 18 lines to the bottom, halfway down the page. Rabbi Yonah Boy. So yesterday we said that if you add to the value of Hekdesh, when you're redeeming Hekdesh, it goes to Hekdesh. If you add the value of Ma'aser Sheni, it does not go to Ma'aser Sheni. So Rabbi Yonah asked, as I understand, I'm going to say outside before I read inside because we're going to change the girsa. I understand. If you're going to say that Ma'aser Sheni is moment hedio, basically. So then, okay, there's no reason why should the additional amount should become Ma'aser Sheni. Because Ma'aser Sheni is moment gava, so then it's like Hekdesh. So what's the difference? It should also go to Hekdesh. Right? It's to go to the Hekdesh of Ma'aser Sheni. It's not going to the Hekdesh of Berek HaBayis or Kodesh HaMizbeach, whatever it is, but it's going to the Hekdesh of Ma'aser Sheni. That too is a form of Hekdesh. So the way to read it is like the Rav Fulda and the Gra, they changed the gears slightly, but significantly. By Kamandamar Kinachosav. Ma'aser Sheni is like your property, okay. But Baram Kamandamar Eno Kinachosav, it's Ma'aser Sheni's Mom Gavah, Ma Ben Hekdesh, Ma Ben Ma'aser Sheni. What's the difference? There should be whatever you add on should be considered to be Kodesh. Rabbi Yosef said, Lo Ken Kvar Idmar. Did we not already explain this? Evidently, Rabbi Yonah had not heard this far. That time Mishkin other Matzilas Marbe Hekdesho. A person can be Marbe and Hekdesh. In other words, a person can add on a value to Hekdesh. There's no limit on Hekdesh, how much you add on. You can give me how much you want. But Ma'aser Sheni, it's a precise amount. It's a tenth. And therefore, you can't add on to the opinion of Ma'aser Sheni because it's no going above the tenth, which is the allocated amount, which is supposed to be precise. Okay, so the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan, Hekdesh Pedoyav Uloy Sif Chomesh Harei Poli. Hekdesh, if you redeemed it, and in a Chomesh, it's redeemed. Ma'aser Sheni V'Shoy V'Loy Sif Chomesh, and Ma'aser Sheni redeemed in a Chomesh Harei Poli. It's not redeemed. My ben Hekdesh, my ben Ma'aser Sheni. What's Mshin Hekdesh, Ma'aser Sheni? So it seems like it's Zayed Rabbanan. Rabbi Hillel said, Hekdesh Ishlo Tovin. Hekdesh, the Gizra is going to make sure that you pay the Chomesh. Because the Chomesh is icing on the cake. So therefore, Mikra Din, you don't need it in order to be paid the Hekdesh. And since the Gizra is when he Toved, so therefore Rabbanan said, you know what? He'll take care of it. No problem. About Ma'aser Sheni, Ma'aser Sheni, Ein Lo Tovin. So to be Toveh, it's between you and yourself. So therefore, Rabbanan said, no, we're not going to let you consider it redeemed until you actually add the Chomesh. So Rabbi Yonah asked again, and evidently again, Rabbi Yonah did not hear the svara of which we were, to distinguish between the two, just like before. So the Rabbi Yonah asked, "Boy, Kamadamar again." It was essentially is Kinachosav. I understand the opinion that holds like that it's his property. Okay, okay, so then there's no bit of veil. But Ramar Eno Kinachosav, but according to Mandar, but it's Eno Kinachosav. So why should it be different? Why should it be? Why should be? Actually, I take that back. I made a mistake. I didn't know that this distinction between Eish Tovim and El Tovim. So Bielch is asking a very simple question. He says, "Commandamar Kinachosav." So then, okay, I can understand that the Chumash is its own property, and therefore, we're not going to. It should be. It could be different than Hekdesh, but Commandamar Eno Kinachosav, it should be the exact same as Hekdesh. So. Why the differential between the two? So he's asking a similar question to the question he asked before. Here it's the more difficult to understand. It's Havamina, but the Leib Yerushalmi has a very longish explanation here. Let's see if we can actually go through it. What the Yonah's Havamina is. He says that the question is whether the claim is considered part of the pidyon the Torah said to be poideh, then it's ma'akev, and the claim is a mitzvah unto itself. It's not an intrinsic opinion, but it's mitzvah unto itself, then it shouldn't be an impediment, right? So the chiluk between Hekdesh and Ma'aser Sheni is that Hekdesh yesh lo tovim, according to this understanding, Again, this Levi Shlam's assumption that he did hear the distinction but misunderstood the distinction. You can just say he didn't hear the distinction, but he's explaining it with the assumption that he did hear the distinction, but he understood it differently. In other words, that Hekdesh has a different bilim, Gavoa. So if that's the case, the Pidyon is like Mekach or Memkar, that you're kind of fruit from Hekdesh, and therefore it's not mistaber that the Torah said to buy payros and pay more than their value. And the pidyon must be for its value, and the chaimish is a mitzvah by itself, and it's not makiv the pidyon. But ma'aser sheni, you're not being kind with somebody else. It's only redemption, and therefore there's a kasub that it's redeemed for more than its value, and therefore the chaimish must be ma'akev. That's the distinction, right? Whether it's a din mekach or memkar, in which case the chaimish should not be ma'akev, or if it's a din pidyon, which the shouldn't be makiv. So that's why you're going to ask. I understand the pidyon ma'aser sheni is mom and hediot. So then there's this distinction can be understood, right? That this ma'aser sheni, my hekdesh, you're buying from hekdesh, and ma'aser sheni you're redeeming from ma'aser sheni, and therefore there's a difference. But according to Mandar, ma'aser sheni is mom gavoa. So if that's the case, so it's like a kinyan from gavoa. So then, if that's the case, it should be no different shek than ma'aser sheni. The milchama should be considered a mitzvah by itself, independently of the kinyan, and therefore, it should, if it's by hekdesh not makiv, by ma'aser sheni also should be makiv. So he understood that this was an intrinsic one, not an imposed one that the Rabbanan were afraid that you're not going to pay up, but an intrinsic one, and it has to do. And if ma'aser sheni is mom and hediot, then there's an intrinsic difference between the redemption of hekdesh, which is a kinyan plus a mitzvah, and my redemption of ma'aser sheni, which is a pidyon. Kinyan plus a mitzvah, the chodesh not makiv. A pidyon, the chodesh is makiv. But if they're both mom and gavoa, so then ma'aser sheni also should be a kinyan plus a mitzvah, and the chodesh not be makiv. Okay, this he says is based on a pshat in the Gilyon Shas. I don't know this Gilyon Shas is Roim Krak Gimel. Oh, it's Kufayin Hey. I don't know what that is. Anyway, be as it may, Article probably brings down who that is. Let's see. He doesn't really explain it. Okay, so in any event, so the Gemara says, Rabbi Yosef says, no, we already explained this. Time hekdesh yesh l'toivin. Ma'aser sheni and l'toivin. It's not, they're intrinsically the same thing. There's no difference between the two if ma'aser sheni is mon gavoa. But the question is whether chodesh is for pshia or not pshia. In other words, by ma'aser sheni, by hekdesh, not chodesh for pshia. Therefore, but it said, okay, it's redeemed in without paying the extra chodesh because the gizbar will be the bad chodesh. But by ma'aser sheni, we don't trust you. So therefore, Rabbanan said, it's not redeemed unless you actually gave the chodesh. Okay, I played a ma'aser sheni shalom ma'aser v'lo chamisha. So person redeems his own ma'aser sheni. He adds a chodesh. Bain shu shalom bain sheni matar. Doesn't matter if it's his or the tevel was given to him as a gift. Mastisa do Rabbi Meir. So that which the Mishnah says, ma'aser sheni, which is given. We said so. He gave the tevel. So he said the Mishnah, but it seems that is not learning this way at this point. Yeah, right. So Masi's by Meir. Meir and matana kamecher. And Meir holds the ma'aser sheni can be given matana, even though it's also to sell. So that's going to Meir. Holds that there is matana, and evidently it's in Bechorus and Beis Yerushalmi. Ma'aser we had Perik Beis Lochal. Ain't the matana kamecher. It's not the same thing. So that's why Mishnah talk about a case where ma'aser sheni is given matana. Says the Gemara, no, divrei koli. And we go like everybody. It doesn't have to go the way Meir. And we can really hold matana is kamecher. And now let's give ma'aser sheni as a matana. And the put the peir shein tefillin ma'aser. We're talking about peiros which are the tevel for ma'aser, which you gave the tevel as a gift. So the Gemara says, Vatin, then we learn in a Bryce in the Mishnah, Parakeh, later on, Parakeh Mishnah Gimel. If somebody redeems his own neta ravai, the fourth year, after Orlo, the fourth year, which has the same status as ma'aser sheni, whether it's his, whether it's given to matana, it says, most people love chamishiso. So you add a fifth. So islach l'meimar, can you say about net ravai, beperos shein tvulin, You take out the words of Ma'aser Sheni, but Nina, the Rashi takes them out. The Yerushalmi takes it out. Peres Shein Tefillin Neter Avai. What do you mean? There's no such thing as Peres Shein Tefillin Neter Avai. Neter Avai is what they are. There's no tevel before they become Neter Avai. Right? So so Lo Neter Avai Atzmo. Unless you talk about Neter Avai itself. So also here, so we see that Neter Avai, even though it's like Ma'aser Sheni, can be in Matana. It must be going like a mayor, because like it's not possible. So the Rashi really changed the word baram to oaf. Avacha meister have soifach lemeimar. So you have to say also in our Mishnah lemaskana, to conclusion, that's going to mayor, and that's going to mayor who holds Matanas not kemecher. And that's even not the rest. Really, if you don't change that girsa, the Raful doesn't pay much to grow. All learn that way as well. Okay, next Mishnah. Halacha Gimel. Marimina Ma'aser Sheni. You can use a legal loophole. Put it the most correct way. On Ma'aser Sheni in order to get out paying chodesh. Kate said, how so? A person says to his friend, leave no bito gdolim, or to his son or daughter who are adults, so they're separate rishus, separate jurisdiction. His male or female Jewish slaves are separate jurisdiction. Take this money, and redeem this meiser, so they don't have to add a chomesh, right? Because he's giving them the money as a gift. They're a separate jurisdiction. They can redeem his since they're not the bailim. They're redeeming the meiser sheni of someone else. They don't have to pay the chomesh. But you can't say this to his son and daughter who are minors, or to his male or female non-Jewish slave. They shouldn't kill it because they are the same jurisdiction. Their hand is like his hand. So that's not going to work. Very well-known case. Because of what the Bible says about it. Is standing in a barn. Maybe the most, and he has no money. He says to his friend, I can't give him the money. I have no money to give him. So I say, here's the peros, matana. So once he gave him the peros, he says, okay, now these peros belong to you. I'm redeeming them. I'm redeeming them on the money I have at home, and now I'm not the owner anymore, and therefore I can redeem them without paying a chomesh. The Bavli has a whole discussion. You know that what do you mean? Why can it be makneh the most bechalifin? Mara says it's gavar tiloi. He doesn't have something with which to make chalifin. Okay. Anyway, I don't think that's in the Yerushalmi here. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yevon says, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yossi, Chanina. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yossi, had a machlokes on what din do we say that the source of the halacha is because my Ma'aser Sheni says bracha. One said the reason that we allow you to utilize this legal loophole to redeem without a chomesh because it says bracha by Ma'aser Sheni and Varim Yudal Chavdaki Bracha Shem Kecha. And therefore, we're not meticulous if he's played it, so we played it without a chomesh. Okay, bracha means there's a leeway. Chaver Amar says no. From bracha we learn love padim so b'shar hazol. Why can you redeem it according to the lowest possible price? Neshkas about bracha, because it says bracha. So okay, so that is a machlekes. Now the Gemara asks mana kayamin. That which it says you give money, that somebody who gives money to other people to redeem his Ma'aser Sheni, he's patim min chomesh. What's the case of our Mishnah? Im shemelot say updeili, if he says, take this money and redeem for me, shlucho, he's a shliach. So therefore, he's not going to exempt from chomesh. Say updeilicha, if he says, go and redeem for you, shaloe. So then, if he says, go and redeem for you, it sounds like he's giving the fruit also. So then both the money and fruit is his, and then again, that other person is going to have to give the chomesh. Elakinakim, when I tell you that like this, he said to him, P'dei li, redeem them for me, mishalcha. He said, redeem the fruit which is mine from the money which is yours. Or at the end of the Mishnah, P'dei lecha, redeem your fruit, mishali, with the money which is mine. Okay. B'tani came. I would like this in a brisa. Pidei lim shelcha, redeem my fruit from your money. Pidei lecha mishali, redeem your fruit with my money. Eino mosif chomesh. You don't add a chomesh. I'm Rabbi Yochanan. Evidently he's summing up the sugya. Call Meiser, meaning Meiser Sheni. The article adds the word Sheni. Sheni hu pidyon mishlo. If it and its redemption money are not the same persons, eino mosif chomesh. You don't add a chomesh. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Mishem Mechina said, "Time Rabbi Yochanan." The pasuk which teaches us the halacha of Rabbi Yochanan, pasuk Vayikra Chav Zayin Lamadad, V'im go'o yigal ish mimasro chamishiso yosif olav. If the person is doing the gula and it's his own meiser, then he has a chomesh. But if it's not his own, if one of them is not his, then there is no chomesh. Kedei shehu pidyono mishalo. Right? In other words, the pidyon and the pidyon and the fruit has to belong to him in order to add chomesh. Okay, that brings us mamish to the end of Lamed Zayin Amud Beis. So, and we have 2 dots here. So, I think we'll stop here for today.